Okay, now we're going into veggies. So spinach,
And
red
spinach.
onion, and spinach, and spinach, and spinach.
Maybe a pepper.
Yep, peppers. I love peppers. Maybe some chopped up zucchini.
Chocolate.
Oh,
Definitely
God, chocolate. So we're at 14.
We got 6 more.
And then we got fats. So, yeah, grass-fed butter.
Coconut oil.
MCT oil, olive oil, I guess balsamic.
And balsamic. You could get by with that.
And some either nuts or nut butter.
Yeah, one or the
Probably
other.
almonds.
Probably almonds.
I just do almonds or almond butter.
You'd be good to go. You could smear some butter on those almonds and you need a little...
I have done that.
Oh, you have?
Well, you know, I'll put butter on dark chocolate and then put an almond on top of it.
I guess I was picturing the butter swirled in the almonds. It was kind of crazy.
I don't know. Is there anything?
I mean, that would be essentially,
give or take, like maybe
one thing more that you'd need, but
like
that would probably get you by.
Like maybe like some carrots or some celery.
You haven't touched those carrots we have in the refrigerator. Don't talk to me about carrots.
But you said give or take. Well, that was my...
The carrots are the take?
That was my one this month. Did we do carbs? No, sweet potato.
You could get by with just a sweet potato.
Yams and rice. Like a brown rice.
Make some rice.
So
but
brown
around
rice.
20 items.
Okay, so brown rice, a garnet yam, so like the sweet potato family.
Mm-hmm.
Like a jewel sweet potato and a Japanese sweet potato. So like we're talking 25 items.
And you'd have to go to Whole Foods to get all these specialty potatoes because they're hard to find.
Right, so if I was...
stores, it's just sweet potatoes.
If I was in a bind, though, I could just go to HEB and load up. So we're talking 25 items. Spices, we're talking turmeric, we're talking Himalayan salt, oregano,
cinnamon,
black pepper.
The salt.
Yep, I already said salt. Would you say oregano?
Cinnamon.
Oh, cinnamon, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, is there anything else?
You could get by with those. I mean,
ginger,
you use some other ones because
chocolate
they're in
powder.
there, but...
Chocolate powder, ginger.
Chocolate powder.
That's about it, so...
Your point being is that, I mean, you really
we're talking,
get by with very little.
So we're talking, actually...
I mean, you need decent
spices,
quantities of these things.
But we're talking, like, spices and foods. All together, I eat 30 things.
Yes. I mean, large quantities of these 30 things, but 30 types of things.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So
you can get those 30 things in large quantities at a much lower cost than you can get a lot of the other really delicious spaghetti squashes and acorn squashes, delicata squashes, all the different squash families.
But I think the point being is it's also part of, and maybe that's just sometimes an extra cost, is, you know, what you need to be happy being someone who eats clean. Like, are you someone who's happy with very minimal items? Like, that's great. If you're someone who needs more variety, it's going to cost you a little more, but you're going to want to continue on that path. And I think that a lot of people sort of fall off because of that, because they're like, you know, they get tired and they're like, I don't want to eat another sweet potato. I just want something different. You know, so I think that it is part of the
taste
cost to eating healthy.
So sort of like a taste compliance.
I think so. Because I think, you know, I mean, those are the top things you hear from people is, you know, time is one of them. But I think variety and taste are huge, too. I mean, you need different ways to prepare chicken. You need different types of meats. You need different kinds of vegetables. I think the variety is really important.
Clearly. It's at
did I sell you on it?
It's at least, well, I mean, the beautiful thing is that of the things that you buy, the 30 things I eat are in there.
Are they included?
They're in there, so I don't even have to worry about it. I get my 30 plus then some. Because, I could go an entire day on, a few items.
But I think that that's part of the deal is that approach is great for a lot of young athletes who are looking to save time, keep things as minimal as possible.
I think male, though.
And male.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for women as a whole, but I think women like to see a little more flavor involved, a little more switching up. That's what I think, too. Like, I mean, if I've, on social media and Instagram, you see now, like, there's such almost like a celebration around fall and different seasonal tastes. And I think people really get a sense of joy out of that. these things only come around, every couple of seasons, and they want to enjoy it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I look at it and I just am like, okay, there's pumpkins around. I'm still eating beef. Like,
you're no fun.
I mean, I'll pick a pumpkin, have a lot of fun. I'll cut it up, but maybe I'll throw it in a protein shake. But
well, like the squash, for example, that's a seasonal item. I mean, it's plentiful right now. There's tons of varieties, so 'tis the season to eat squash.
It is good.
It is good.
Are you going to do that delicata squash recipe on your blog?
Oh, yeah, I'll have to share that. It was really good. I just kind of made that on a whim. I just threw it together.
That's good.
It was really good.
Nicely done.
Yes, thank you.
So besides this variety conversation we had, this sort of led us into this whole thought process of, what do you really need to eat healthy, to eat clean? Is it, to stay on this path, right? Because even when you're locked, I think it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of compliance and healthy habits and getting over that hump where you're doing it regularly enough that you feel such a difference that it keeps you in line. Mm-hmm. However, for someone like me, it's just the way I feel just keeps me in line. But, I think for you, and maybe that's the male-female thing, you feel good and that keeps you feeling good, but you're always still like, I'm bored. I want something to taste a little different, right? There are these other pieces that sort of make compliance, not that you would eat unhealthy or not that you would eat dirty, but that you're like actively pursuing ways to continually do it differently.
That kind of takes me back to, this was a couple of years ago now. We don't do this anymore, but, and it's a really common practice, and I guess kind of the healthy eating, living community is the sort of the Sunday prep for the week, kind of doing a big grocery shop, coming home and making all your food for the week. And we would do this, and I'd have to say, like, by the time Wednesday rolled around, I'd look in my refrigerator and nothing appealed to me. And I'd be like, oh my God, I don't want to eat this again. I don't want to eat this vegetable casserole. I don't want to eat chicken tasting this way. Like, I'd have to make something else because I was so bored. And it's funny because we actually don't do that now because more just what we've learned in terms of, it's not such a healthy practice.
Right.
But it's just kind of funny. That was one of the things that I really didn't like about it was you were eating the same type of food. So even though, it's prescribed as being this great way to save time and sort of help you out during the week, that would sort of last like 2 days, and I'd come home after going to the gym and I'd be like, oh, this is awesome. Dinner is ready. I just have to throw it in the microwave. Microwave's not so good either. But I enjoyed it for 2 days, and then I'd look in the refrigerator and I'd be like, ugh, I don't want to eat any of this. Mm.
Yeah, and I think that kind of just this whole conversation about saving the time and doing the food prep, and I think that the act of doing food prep is a really interesting learning experience for people.
And it's very personal, I think. It's really kind of has a lot to do with your life and just your personality, how you like to do things. I don't think it's one thing, can fit everybody, in my opinion anyway.
But I think just doing it makes... It also, oddly enough, I think it puts you into a community of people who live out of like the Tupperware people. It's
usually like bodybuilders,
like the bodybuilders, fitness competitor Tupperware people, and where you carry your Tupperware everywhere, and you have your food pre-made, and it's
usually
already
chicken.
measured out, and it's chicken, it's some rice, it's probably some broccoli, and
Standard.
You're doing pretty frequent feedings, and there's this kind of, I don't want to say, it's almost like fun to be that weird.
I think if you get into it, it's like anything else.
Right. But then on the other side of it, I think that the act and the practice of preparing everything and like the ritual of it sort of starts to override maybe the healthy practices. Because I think there is a major relationship that you develop with your health by cooking regularly, by shopping regularly, by picking your foods out, by
yeah, that kind of hits home with me too, because when we used to do that, it felt a little bit like drudgery. Because I'd be like, oh, it's Sunday, we have to do all that.
a little. It was a lot.
All that we have to do all that food shopping and
like 2-hour
cooking.
shops.
At least, because that was when I was like really, and not that I'm not into Trader Joe's now, but we would go to Trader Joe's.
To Trader Hippies?
To Trader Hippies. And then we'd still have to go to a regular grocery store to pick up some other things.
Oh, and then we'd go to Whole Foods and pick up the remainder.
Yeah, so there was like multiple stops. Then we'd make all this food. Then we have to put it in containers. And it just was such drudgery. And now I prefer, I'll go to the food store, and it's probably just much more European. I'll pick up those things I need, and I'll go a couple of times during the week, but they're much, much smaller food shops, obviously.
Right. And you know what's also brutal about that time period is I was doing the weekly 20-hour fast where I would eat normal.
Your eating style changed a couple of times while we were doing that. So you kind of experienced it from all angles.
from all angles of no food to too much food.
You were doing the bulking where you were eating the food and then drinking a lot of milk. You did the fasting where you need a lot of food at night. It was a very experimental time for you.
Oh, it was. Oh, yeah. Go to my Facebook page.
Oh,
I just
exactly.
I just created a Facebook page for Coach Scott Frost. Again, Scott with 2 T's. And I put up an album of 10 years of body change. And it's a really interesting, I think, it was interesting putting it together just to show transparency about how it really takes a long time of going through a lot of different avenues to find and to really dial it in to look probably the way you want. But that's, I think, the benefit of being on the other side of it is that I can then hopefully help people save some of that time. But it's still going to take you time. Even with the right guidance, it's still going to take time. But during that time period,
for the prep, or just time to get to your goals?
I mean, time to get your goals. But yeah, that prep time was brutal.
Well, I actually, I'm studying right now for my nutrition certification, and one tip I really liked, I'm doing Dr. John Berardi's program, and one tip I really liked was he called it kind of like the breakfast prep, and it's basically like you would get up, a little bit early, and you're going to need to be making breakfast anyway, so kind of waking up a little earlier and sort of getting your food ready for the day then, and trying to do it in a little more of a concentrated window. So maybe if you're going to have a sweet potato that night, maybe you'd put it in the oven then while you're making your breakfast, getting a salad ready for lunch, getting some snacks together. So I thought that was one approach, especially if you work 9 to 5 and you're in an office. I think that might be a good way to go.
Right. Well, and I think some of the reasons we've gotten away from food prepping for the week in general are just learning a great deal more about the wellness aspects, the way that food takes on, bacterial contamination, and just how food once prepped and then put in the fridge, you're not able to suspend. As soon as you stop cooking that food and as soon as it starts to cool, you are exposing that food to just layers and layers of different microbial growth, whether that's a mold, a fungus, a bacteria. It makes sense.
If you think about it, like we even keep our nuts and our flours once they're open in the refrigerator now.
Our almond flour, coconut flour. We even keep our nuts, which it's recommended that you keep your nuts in jars in the fridge because nuts are very porous. And so they very readily absorb, especially small microbes. But you start to really get grossed out when you learn about it, and you're like, you know what? It's really not worth consuming that much mold, which could be in small ways adding to your inflammation. It could be just disrupting. Could be something you're sensitive to, and could be giving you some brain fog, pulling away some of your energy. Just overall not very healthy. And so that sort of made sense that we were just keeping food too long.
Mm-hmm. You were worse than I was. I'd be like, I don't want to eat that anymore. And you'd be like, it's fine.
Oh my God. I used to do just the